My name is Maher. I'm a veterinarian. There are cats everywhere right now. Um, I specialize in feline medicine. I also specialize in holistic medicine. So I do acupuncture and massage and therapeutic laser, as well as wellness care. We try to be as full service as we possibly can, but I do own a mobile veterinary practice, so we see cats only, called Tranquil Tabby. I got sick. Well, I've been sick for a while, but I got like hospitalized sick about a year and a half ago with this like mystery illness that I've been struggling with, that ended up being something called functional neurological disorder. And what that means is there's nothing like wrong with my brain or my body, like physically, there's no like tumor or anything like that. But my brain is not like sending and receiving signals properly. And so that actually like took me out of veterinary medicine pretty abruptly. And I was already like burnt out, but it took me out really abruptly. And then I was like full-time recovery. So like in and out of hospital and like all of these things. And at the time I wasn't like really talking well or walking well. Like I couldn't really think clearly. So it was like really dramatic. And Western medicine, of course, had a lot to offer in terms of imaging and things like that. But with this condition, there's not really much you can do once you get diagnosed. It's a lot of like, physical therapy or speech therapy. Is kind of like treating symptoms, but the main stuff is like behavioral therapy to try to kind of like teach your brain new pathways. And so as I was doing that, I just thought, like why not turn to like other modalities? And so I did acupuncture and I did different things. And then eventually I ended up working with a really extremely talented body worker. And as I was developing that relationship, he had started working with Bill, who my understanding is he knew him since they were like younger. And he told me like, hey, you really should meet with him. I trust him and like he's a good person. And so I did meet with him, and pretty immediately I knew it was a good fit because the energy was very calming and secure and encouraging but realistic. And I had started this clinic kind of like let's just do it, like you know what I mean? So I've really been like learning as I go, like I didn't start the clinic with a really clear, I know the doctor stuff, but I didn't have a really clear sense on like exactly how things were going to go. I don't have like a firm business background. I have had some little businesses here and there, but I needed somebody to help coach through that and think about money and think about, how to be successful as a business, but while still having a good quality of life. Because for me, with my brain condition, my stress level is really, really tied to like my symptoms and, if I'm gonna have a big flare up or something like that. And I'm thankfully really stable right now, but it was really important to me. And coming from veterinary medicine where burnout is exceptionally high, like suicide is really, really high, I really wanted to make this a better environment. And so like I wanted to balance, like, yes, we're doing really well as a clinic, but we're also taking care of ourselves while we take care of our patients and our clients. And Bill like had that philosophy, like that's his whole his whole thing is figuring out how to balance these two things. And I've always really believed strongly like it's not one or the other. Like there is a way to do both. I just think we don't see it modeled that much in the world, especially for caregivers. And it just made sense to me, like talking with him, to be like, yeah, if somebody sees it the same way as I do. I worked with Bill in the context of the business coaching. We worked together actually on like a accelerated timeline, because the business was already running and we were trying to like kind of like, I don't want to say like solve problems, right? But it was more so like we were trying to like adjust and course correct and stuff like that. And I had started the clinic with my cousin who has business experience but no veterinary experience. And at some point early on, it was just like not gonna be a good fit. Like veterinary medicine is definitely not for everybody, you know? And so we parted ways like amicably, of course, but it was a lot of like transition period of like, okay, how am I going to like create this? Because it's not something I could do by myself. So I needed to bring on an employee. I needed to like figure out our standard operating procedures and figure out how are we going to do all of these structures, and financial planning was like a big one for me to like sit down and think about that in a really productive manner. That's not the word I really want to pull out of my head, but intentional. There you go, like an intentionally productive manner. So we did the business coaching. We still are doing the business coaching. So I think the normal timeline is 6 months. I think we did it honestly, I think we did it in like 2.5 months. And pretty early on too, I also brought Bill on for bookkeeping. I think for me, that's probably been the biggest like weight off of me as a clinic owner, is realizing that I don't have to be in that world and I can trust somebody to help me with that and like know what they're doing, guide me through it. Yeah, so to recoup my investment with Bill, I believe it took about 3.5 months. Yeah, it was a really quick turnaround, and like at no point was I really worried about like, oh, we're not gonna recoup. And of course, Bill has like a safety net for that. Like, you continue working until you do. But I want to say we recouped the investment like right as we were like finishing our accelerated. It wasn't like before we finished, but it was really close to it. So yeah, it went really quick. I mean, Bill's just been like a partner in the process, and he cares like so deeply about me and about like the vision for the clinic and the work I do and the work my team does. And he's just been there to like be like a cheerleader, to also like call me out on my like BS if I'm kind of going somewhere weird, and keeping me like down to earth and pragmatic and everything, but also like, helping me to like envision what I want and go for what I want and be creative, because that's the thing. This clinic is not a traditional vet clinic, like at all. And that's not just like the structure of how we care for patients. It's like, we don't market like other places market. Like we do more community events. We just do things so non-traditionally and so outside the box a lot. And Bill's been so flexible and so supportive of that. So yeah, he's like coaching the business and he's doing the bookkeeping, but he's also just like he's in this role in my life of like a general supporter and like, like a partner in like developing this idea. So that's like something you don't like, pay for as a service or whatever, but it comes with it. If I could have a megaphone and like a room of people that are looking for the service Bill has and that Bill is able to provide for, I would just be like, just do it already. You know what I mean? Like, just do it. Like, in my mind, it's a financial commitment, right? Like, that's the gamble. That's the gamble, is like, it's a financial commitment and it's a time commitment and all of these things, right? It's going to take time. It's going to take energy. It's going to take hard work, and there's a financial component, but like, just do it.